We're live.
Well, welcome everybody. We are so happy to see you here. Buenos noches to everyone. We're honored that you'd spend a little time with us this evening. My name is Bobby Smith. I am a vice president for Powur Energy, a member of this extraordinary executive team, and many of our leaders are on here tonight. We appreciate you. Tonight was designed for the people. Maybe you've never heard of Powur before. Maybe you've been on our email campaigns. Maybe you were a part of Powur 2, 3 years ago, and maybe you got taken away, or our models in the beginning weren't for you, or whatever brought us back together here tonight. We're very excited to have you here. Powur Energy is cooking on all cylinders, and really what this is designed is for people to just make a life and a business decision. Powur is about leading a life of design, a life of purpose. It's about doing something for our kids and our grandkids in the future. And it's about making a great deal of money and working with people you love, doing something cool, hanging out. Most of us that work with Powur just really feel blessed that we can wake up every day and we get a chance to do it all over again. And one of the people we get to do that with is our CEO, Jonathan Budd. It was his vision in the rainforest over 5 years ago. Put up almost $1 million of cash to back up his vision of what he wanted in life. He didn't need money at that point. This was a vision for the future of his children and our planet. And it's Jonathan's brilliance that has led us in his dedication to where we are today. We're all honored to work with him. I consider him a dear friend. And I would turn this call over to our CEO, Mr. Jonathan Budd.
Bobby Smith, thank you so much for putting up with me day in and day out.
It's my
well said. Well said in your introduction. Yeah, I mean, just to recap, I think Bobby nailed it. You know, really the idea here was we've made a bunch of changes, and putting it lightly. We've pretty much replaced the engine of our business and really taken the company in an entirely different direction. One that we're extremely excited about and we feel is the most aligned with what's actually going to get more solar on more rooftops. And coincidentally, you know, it also is very important at putting a lot more money in people's bank accounts for doing that exact thing. And, you know, when we kind of had a bunch of light bulb moments, you know, go off inside our head, we made the decision to full force enter into this new direction, which we're calling Powur Energy, recognizing that there's thousands and thousands of people who have really followed, you know, what we've done for years, been a part of the company, are a part of the company, you know, people who have looked at the company, but for whatever reason wasn't the right time. And so we wanted to put on this presentation night so that we could very loud and very clearly, you know, start to get the message and the word reverberating through the thousands and thousands of people who we all know about what kinds of opportunity exist within this business now. And who are we for, and what's possible, and why could this company potentially drastically change your life? And so that's what tonight's presentation is about. We're going to cover who we are. We're going to cover our model. We're going to cover the solutions we're bringing to market. And we're going to cover joining Powur and how that works and how our model works. So like Bobby said, I'm the founder and CEO of the company. And this entire idea came on a trip to the Amazon rainforest, believe it or not. I was sitting in a jungle with a bunch of shamans from an indigenous culture. And I was there with an organization called the Pachamama Alliance. And they bring groups down to the Amazon. They have helped protect millions of acres of Amazon rainforest for decades. And so they bring groups down to meet, you know, these tribes. And I was on one of those groups, and it was just absolutely profound, you know, seeing that their entire life was threatened by oil almost every day. And, you know, the parts of the Amazon that were completely devastated and destroyed and are never coming back, you know, because of oil exploration and development in those lands. And I don't know what it was, just all the things that came together. It was just like a light bulb moment in 2011, boom. You know, I've got to start some kind of people-powered company inside solar energy. And at the time, the word that came to mind was network marketing. What I think I've realized since then is that was because the actual concept of Powur hadn't been invented yet. in the closest thing that related to what our destiny is and what we're meant to become was network marketing. That was like the closest thing that was related to it. But now I see it very differently, and I think we're really innovating an entirely new sort of network and people-driven model inside of clean energy and solar that really doesn't have a lot of the vestiges of the networking model of the past. It's just its own new thing. And it's beautiful, it's exciting and innovative, and that's where we like to be, right at the cutting edge. And so anyways, after I got that vision, I was pretty much screwed. I had to build it. I knew the vision was never going to go away, and I made the decision early 2014 to basically invest all my money in Powur and build this company. We have an amazing management team. I am just one of the people responsible for building this company. As you can see, our management team stems from former, executives of MySpace who were there when it grew to hundreds of millions of users, to Bobby, who led, one of the biggest direct sales companies of this era, to Matt Gordon, who's our director of ops, who comes from Sullivan Solar Power and was an operations leader over there, a premier, well-known, decade-plus Southern Cal company. Jay Dakoff, who used to head up all of design at Sungevity. Rachel, who many of you probably know from her trainings, who was a manager at Tesla. And across the board, Beth, who evolved, if you've ever had to do anything in sport, you've probably seen Beth. There's just a phenomenal team here that really rounds out all the key disciplines required to make a great company. And we're super excited to have our new Chief Operations Officer, Nick Phillips, join the team. Nick was a co-founder of a company called PackEdge, and they grew that company and had an amazing exit, and it was over 120 employees under his helm. So he has recently joined the team. We're super excited to have Nick on board. So there's a lot of executive and management talent that really thinks day in and day out how to continue to make this business better, really for all of you. At the beginning of Powur, we knew we always wanted to do something innovating around how customers are acquired. So we knew that that's where our sweet spot was going to be. You look at the solar industry, and that's really still one of the most difficult parts of solar is how do you acquire a customer? And no company is really that great at it. And it still remains a extremely stubbornly high cost, throughout the industry. And so back in 2015, we partnered with Solar City Tesla. The big idea back then was to really be a network marketing company for their products and services. They had leases, loans, and that was in the Solar City heyday. And I think we just learned so much from that relationship. We got to see a lot of what not to do. And I think if you had told me back then that Powur's eventual destiny was to become Solar City, except do it right and do it profitably, I probably would have laughed at you. And ironically enough, that's exactly where we are today. We've pretty much become our own national solar provider. The company's been in business for 5 years now. We've raised millions of dollars. We're an investor-backed company. We're actually the fastest company to raise $1 million in history through equity crowdfunding, which was a cool little milestone that we got to hit. We've grown to thousands of members, and eventually we exited the lead generation business, and we went into being our own sort of nationwide solar provider, in which we work with dozens of the best installers across the country, and we're really responsible for kind of selling and then managing the projects end to end. And this is where things get really exciting because, with greater value and greater ownership of the value chain, there's just a lot more money to play with. And, I think as you guys will see in this presentation, what we've decided to do with the money in solar is pretty revolutionary. There's no other company out there doing a model like what we're going to show you all tonight. And that's why we hope you're here. So some of the core values that drive what we do, these are no joke, by the way. We didn't just make these up and say, hey, that sounds good. We came up with these core values sitting in one of our quarterly executive meetings. And we were all sitting around and we were just saying, what is it we actually do? Like if we had to really look at ourselves honestly, what defines us? Like who are we? What do we do? How have we operated? Not how do we want to operate, but how have we actually operated? And this is what we found when we really looked at what's driven Powur from the start. So um, value number one is find a way. No matter what our business, our organization, we've always found a way. There's never been anything that stopped us, no matter what challenge was thrown our way. Number two, innovate constantly. We don't ever stop innovating. We don't ever think we've arrived somewhere. It is 100%. How can we make this better, 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 better? Always. Value number three, get shit done. Yes, we use profanity inside our core values. Sorry if that offends you, but it's the truth. This is an organization that hustles. We just get an extraordinary amount of stuff done. We're executors. We've done nothing but execute for years, and we continue to execute. Number four, we communicate authentically. We do. We communicate authentically. That's just a part of who we are. Our management team never fights, ever. Nobody ever has a fight because there's no reason to. We all communicate what we want, what we think, what our needs are, and we listen to each other, and it works great. Number five, we serve our community. Number six, we're devoted to growth. Number seven, we're passionate about making things work extraordinarily well. And that is key. You've got to be passionate about making things work really well. Number nine, see the big picture. Don't get caught in the small stuff. And number 10, work together through it all. Whatever it is, whatever's coming at you, just work together through it all. And those really are the core values that define our organization. And our purpose is to really accelerate the adoption of clean energy worldwide. And if that's something that you can get inspired by, then really this is a company you can plant a flag with, have a home with, and go the distance with. So let's talk about our business model. So we believe the individual seller, the person that actually sells the solar system and sort of originates and generates the client, is the most valuable human being in all of solar, and that they deserve the greatest benefit. So yes, I'm talking about you. We believe that you are the most valuable person to the entire solar chain, to everything in getting more solar in the world. We believe you're the most valuable person, and thus you deserve the greatest benefit. So if you look at kind of the old model of solar, you basically have dealers, companies, and EPCs, and pretty much everybody is selling for them, right? You either work for a company or you work under a dealer, or maybe you go get your own installer relationship, something like that. That's the whole model. Typically, if you work for a dealer, you work for a company, you have much smaller commissions, right? They're taking a sizable override off of whatever you would have made and whatever their cost of goods were, blah, blah, blah. And if you have your own EPC relationship, typically you can make more money or get into the bigger commissions. And, a lot of times it's also a lot more work, right? You're kind of handling everything. You're doing, financing, you're logging into tools and doing this and doing that, making proposals, designs. There's all sorts of stuff that you often have to do. You have smaller commissions, little to minimal support. There's no passive or residual income in any of those opportunities. And there's no equity or ownership options in any of those opportunities. And there's no scalable technology in any of those opportunities. So basically, if you work in the old model, the best bet is you have a nice paying job. That's pretty much the best bet, and if you're really good, then maybe, you have a higher paying job, and that's, not a terrible thing, but that's what it is. So let's talk about the new model of solar sales. So you sell for yourself. You're your own business. You're your own entrepreneur. You are the business. So you're selling for yourself. You have the most lucrative commissions in the entire industry, because why not, right? I mean, why sell anywhere else if you can make more money, selling here? You get daily training and support. So, lots of support, lots of knowledge, lots of ways to continue to grow yourself, advance your career. You have passive income opportunity. So this is where you get a real lifestyle change. You have the ability to actually make passive income, which is lifestyle money. That's a big difference, right? I mean, active income, working, like that's going to pay the bills, but a passive income, really creates a lifestyle, and you get to do a lot of different things you might not have been able to do when you're not trading time for money. So that's really critical, and a huge part of our value proposition. And with Powur, you get equity ownership. And our vision, we've raised almost $5 million from investors, and we have some big plans in the immediate short future within the next 6 months. Our long-term vision has always been to take this company public. So if you are part of the foundational stage of driving value and creating value in the company, we're going to offer people equity opportunities. And when you earn equity in early stage companies, I mean, the proof is, the world today. I mean, look at who the biggest companies are in the world, and look at how most people get and acquire wealth. Like, the vast majority do it through owning equity in early stage companies that get very big. And granted, it's not like people are being made co-founders or anything like that, but we really view equity opportunities as that sort of longer term wealth creation strategy. If you have a strategy for how you're paying your bills and living a great life today by earning really big commissions, inside your business, that covers point number one. If you have a strategy for passive income so that you have a lifestyle, that comes point number two. And then if you've got a strategy for long-term wealth creation and really kind of setting up that generational money where you might have 100,000 or $500,000 or 50,000 or whatever in some equity somewhere that just grew from your earlier investments in the company, like that's a different kind of money, a different kind of wealth as well. So I think all three strategies are important. And then lastly, scalable technology. And part of the reason why we've raised money from the start is because we know that you need really good technology in the world that we live in today to scale. And most solar companies don't have it. Like, they have the worst technology. They're working off Google spreadsheets every day, and they can't even afford Salesforce, never mind have actual technology. And that's the truth. So that's not us. We've invested millions in our tech, and we to the best of our ability try to make everything platform driven, and that allows you to grow and scale. So let's talk about our model. So really, I think we're disrupting solar as it's been kind of the same way that Uber disrupted the taxi industry, EXP disrupted the real estate industry, and Costco disrupted the traditional sort of grocery industry. We're Uber because anyone can sign up for our platform anywhere, anytime, and run their own business from the palm of their hand. We really looked at the EXP model in great detail and found it to be really enlightening. What these guys did in real estate, basically they're the fastest growing real estate brokerage in the world. They've got 17,000 agents now. They've done that in a handful of years. They were just named 2018 most innovative real estate company. And their model was simple. They pay their agents bigger commissions than any other real estate broker. How do they do that? They keep the company entirely virtual. It is a 100% virtual company. They have no offices, no overhead, no infrastructure. They're they're over $700 million market cap. They don't have a single office. So it's a 100% virtual infrastructure, which allows them to pay agents way more money. So the agents, instead of getting a 50-50 split like traditional realtors, they get an 80-20 split. So 80% of the commission, EXP keeps 20. And then EXP did some more really cool things. They made agents equity owners. So they gave them a chance to buy stock because they're a public company at a discounted price. They gave them a chance to earn stock. So they're building ownership in the company. And they gave them a passive income. They gave them the ability to invite other agents and earn an override off everything those agents do. And there's agents earning $50,000 a month in passive income, just from that part of the plan. So we really loved a lot of the things EXP did and thought that it's so ripe in the solar industry to do the same thing and really, have a really valuable proposition for the seller. But what was missing was really kind of what we're calling the Costco model. which is really where we innovated and came up with this unique idea that we're going to talk about next around the cost of goods. But the quick idea is that, Costco really doesn't make any money off selling their food to you. They make absolutely nothing. The margin that they keep off selling all of the goods pretty much goes to pay the costs. It pays the expenses of that business. They don't really make any money off it. Where Costco makes their money, you can literally look at their financials and see net profit and then compare their net profit to their annual membership revenue. And it's almost identical. So that $70 that we all pay to Costco, tens of millions of people pay every year, is really the net profit of the company. So they can afford to kind of give away the value of the goods, pass along the wholesale value of the goods because of the membership. And so we really kind of combined all three of these things in a brand new model. And so our compensation plan is really a first around providing total transparency of the cost of goods to install a solar system. So other dealers and companies and EPCs, they always hide the true cost of installing your project. You never see what they're actually paying. They won't show you that it only costs them $1,500 for that crew to go out and install it, and it costs probably 52 cents or 41 cents for the panels, and 32 cents for the inverter, and blah blah blah. Like, it's just hidden. You don't see it. And so on our model, we are completely transparent about our cost of goods. Every single dollar that goes into installing this solar system is broken down on a sheet. So you can see exactly what the cost actually is. And then the compensation plan is very simple. Whatever the net revenue is, all of the net revenue, the profit over that cost of goods, right? So whatever it costs to install the system, whatever it was sold for, minus any of the adders, that net revenue, that's all the money that there is to be made off of that system. And as the person who sold the system, we're going to let you keep 70% of every dollar. So you keep the entire lion's share of the net revenue over the cost of goods. And that is, pretty much the most generous solar comp plan we've ever heard of, because most installers, they need to make a lot more money just to stay in business. Never mind give up, 70% of the net revenue over the cost of goods. And it doesn't stop there. One of the things we're most excited about in this model is that these costs are going to continue to come down. And as our community continues to drive more volume and sell more projects, we're getting a discount, in fact, that kicks in July 1st with SolarEdge. So one of our big equipment partners, we've already hit the first volume tranche, and we're getting a discount that's going to kick in 7.5% on all of our, inverters starting July 1st. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And, that happens across the board, as volume continues to scale. So, we eventually see the cost dropping even substantially further than it is today. So let's talk about an example of how this works. So let's say a system costs $1.85 to install. So that's the cost of goods. And I'll give you an example in Texas. So if you sold a 12 kW system roughly in Texas right now, this is all kind of how it pencils out. So if the system size, well, let's say 10 kW, for example, if you sold it at $3.50 a watt, which is pretty much the average, maybe even a little under what most people are selling for in our company right now, there was 70 cents per watt of adders, financing fees and NPU. That basically means there was 95 cents a watt in revenue. So there was $9,500 that was made by the sale of this solar system. Well, you as the person who sold it, you're going to keep 70%. So your commission is going to be $6,650, and Powur's going to keep 30%. So we would retain $2,850. So you're going to make $6,650. Powur's going to keep $2,850. Now, obviously, with commissions like this, which, mind you, is about 3 times the size of the average commission in our company of, just a couple months ago. Commissions like this make it pretty easy to have a pretty good income, selling a project a month, 2 projects a month. And I got to ask you, What do you think? Do you think you could sell more homes, or do you think you could sell more solar systems? If you were a real estate agent, how many homes do you think you could sell a year? Well, if you're a solar agent, do you think you could sell more solar systems than you can homes? And the answer is, heck yeah, you can. It is way easier to sell a solar system than it is to sell a home. You can sell a solar system in an hour, literally an hour. You sit down with somebody at their kitchen table, you meet them on Zoom, you do a presentation for 30 to 60 minutes, and that thing is sold, right? You've got some follow-up to do. You've got some paperwork to do. But pretty much, the sale happens in about an hour or less. And, there's 90 million plus homes in the United States. So do the math. This is, I think, a bigger market than real estate. If you've got millions of real estate reps out there, it's not because they're all passionate about homes, okay? It's because they make big money when they sell one. They get big commissions. They make $8,000. They make $9,000, $10,000, $6,000, $15,000. Well, guess what? You can now make that same kind of money in the solar industry selling solar, and you can sell a lot more solar systems than you can homes. And so these are some real examples. This was one of our partners whose last check on selling an 11.5 kW system in Texas, he made $8,500, $8,587, and he sold that at about $4 a watt. It was a 2.99% 20-year loan product, so an extremely low interest rate, which has a little bit higher dealer fees, which drives the price up, but it has a really low monthly payment. So these are really popular in the company right now. A lot of people are selling very low interest rate loans and getting their customers very low monthly payments. And he made $8,587. I wanted to show you guys another one because this is the flip side of the spectrum. So this is somebody who, for whatever reason, had to sell really low. It might have been a competitive situation or whatever. So he sold at $2.89 a watt. So substantially less. Most people aren't even allowed to sell at this level. If you work for a dealer or you work for a company, you're not even authorized to go this low. Like you'll make nothing. You'll have a $0 commission if you sold this low. This is lower than most people's base prices. And so our partner sold this project at $289, and his commission on this is $3,556, which is much bigger than most solar professionals' checks if they work for a company and they sold at their actual target, at their actual margin target. So very exciting what's possible in this compensation plan. And that's the flexibility of the cost of goods model. Whatever the revenue is over the cost of goods, we're going to do a 70-30 split. So I hope you got that. In terms of revenue sharing, this is where the passive income comes in. We're going to give every single person that you refer to the company, if you know a great sales professional, you got a friend, you got an entrepreneur, thinker, whoever, and you think that Powur could be a great fit to help them advance their life and career, you're going to make 20% of every single dollar Powur makes off their sales. So this is even better. We don't pay this out of the seller's portion. So you're always going to get 70% of the total revenue when you sell a project. But out of the percent that we keep, we're going to turn around and we're going to give you 20% of every dollar we keep, every dollar we made on that project, just because you referred that person to our platform. So, this can be big money. And, these aren't small checks. If you're earning 20%, I'll show you some examples in a minute. It averages to be around $500, and it can swing anywhere from $250 to above $1,000 in passive income on every sale that someone makes when you refer them to the company. So that whole trend actually continues 6 levels. So there's real passive income potential here as the world starts to find out about the types of commissions they can earn from Powur. And we want you to be the one telling everybody. Let's go talk to our friends who are sales professionals, who are consultants, we've seen people coming from all sorts of different industries, the roofing industry, the painting industry, the water industry, professionals from all over the country in all different industries are coming over and saying, my goodness, I need to learn solar. I need to learn how to sell solar. Look at the market here. It's expanding every day. The value proposition is amazing. The commissions are huge. truly, we think this is just the beginning of creating a market for sales professionals to really come over and really start to sell solar. And I think that's why we've been seeing a lot of sales pros joining the company, and many people are very excited about this. So let's do a quick example here. So there's 6 levels, and you might make an average of 550 on level 1 down to, on level 6, maybe $162 happening on every sale that's taking place on your 6th level. So, we really consider this the passive lifestyle income while you're out there, building your career and finding new clients and signing new clients, and and having a great income from doing it. Why not be talking to everybody we know, inviting them to join your team within the company, and slowly over time having that really build to become a great passive income. And that's what we're starting to see. So last thing I want to talk about is the mentor program. So a lot of you who are newer to the industry, you might be thinking, this sounds amazing. I'm looking for a change. I want to get involved in something really lucrative that has huge upside, but I don't know anything about solar. No problem. We've got you covered. Not only do we have, an amazing onboarding program and weekly live training, but we have a mentor program. And really, the mentor program is all you need to learn how to sell solar. And it works very simply. When you sign up to the company, you're allowed to start generating clients, right? So let's say you go out there and you generate somebody who's interested in a solar proposal. Well, once you put them in your Powur back office, you can assign that project to a mentor. And what that means is that you and your mentor are now going to team up on actually presenting the proposal and getting the documents signed for that new customer. And it works very simply. You're going to split the commission, whatever the commission is. Actually, I need to do a big shout out. We just had one of our biggest mentor checks ever go out. So this was sold by Linda Nerstad for one of her new teammates, Scott O'Connell, I believe. Sorry, Scott, if I botched your last name. But Linda sold the project. Scott brought the project in. It was a huge California, I think it was like an 11 kW system in California, which is big. So it generated a commission of $12,000. And so Linda and Scott, and by the way, this is Scott's first project. So on his very first project, within like this is pretty much the first thing he's ever done in the company, he's making $6,000 just to bring this person to the table. And Linda made $6,000 just for mentoring Scott and showing him how to present and how to sell it. So that's what it's all about. And you do a couple of these mentor programs with whoever your mentor is, and you're in business. You're going to learn from them, and that's their job. It's to really mentor you and teach you, and they're getting paid to do it. So we're excited about the mentor program. Let's talk about the equity program. So when you join Powur, these are starting to go out now. That's the next big thing on our list, is sending out everybody's stock options now that these installs are starting to roll in. So when you get your first installation with the company, we grant you 100 stock options. When you get an installation of a consultant that you sponsor, so let's say you sponsor a new person and they have their first installation, you get another 50 stock options. And that doesn't, you can sponsor as many people, help them get their first installation, you keep earning stock options. When you hit these yearly goals, so we broke it down into really the 2 tranches. So if you have 25 projects in a year, which pretty much means you're full-time in the company, we're going to bonus you out 1,000 stock options. And if you get 50 installs in a year, which pretty much means you're a performer, right? You're full-time in the company and you're also performing well. We're going to bonus you out 5,000 stock options. So there's plenty of people who are already pacing to hit these numbers and beyond. So it's very exciting that there's also the ability for everybody to really earn some ownership in the company and really be an owner in the company, invested in the long-term success of the company. And again, when we go public, these could be worth a lot. I mean, we're a very early stage company right now. So typically you're talking about a 50 to 100x kind of valuation improvement over what that stock is valued at today. So I mentioned this at our launch event. It is definitely advantageous to acquire more stock at an earlier stage of the company, because the next time we do a capital raise, our valuation is going to be much higher and the price of the stock goes up. So that's huge incentive for everybody to go crush it for as long as you possibly can before we do our next capital raise, because all the exercise prices on these options are a lot lower than they're going to be within 6 months from now. I can tell you that. So we're super excited about the equity ownership plan. Let's talk about the tools we provide. So daily group coaching. We've got a sales success and onboarding system that every new person goes through. It's everything that you really need to learn the company. Lead generation training. There's so many people doing so many creative things to generate clients in this business. Things we're always talking about and training all the time. And my next big program that I'm working on is a company lead generation program. So ultimately, we want to give people the ability to learn a great sales system and then be able to opt into a lead generation program and just continue to rocket ship growth for everybody. We've got an amazing live event culture. If you've never been to a Powur event, we cannot wait to welcome you to one of our events. Our events are really about personal transformation, skill building, and just becoming abundant, creating wealth, and building the lives that we really want, the businesses that we really want. So a lot of people think sometimes that that's just all about, technical knowledge or training, and really that's only a part of it. So much of what we do at our events is also really focused on kind of who we are and the choices we're making and how to really continue to strengthen our inner game and become better people and more capable people and more competent people, because ultimately that's how we really create the things we most want in life. So I find that, live events are a really great place to do that kind of work. It's just really where that kind of work happens. And it's something that's also very unique to Powur. You don't find those types of events in most companies. So anyways, I can't wait to welcome you guys to one of our live events, the next one we have it, and get a taste of the company. Scalable technology. So we have real-time dynamic proposals. Literally in almost all of our markets within the next 2 weeks, you can input a lead and within 20 minutes, you have a completed dynamic proposal to show your customer. So you input a lead and in about 20 minutes, you've got a proposal back to show them, how much money they're saving, where their system goes, what it looks like, what equipment they're using. You can play and adjust financing options and equipment options and pricing. And it's really a phenomenal tool that people are having tremendous success with. Real-time contract packages. So when your customer says they're ready to sign, you literally click a button and a contract goes out. You click another button, a loan agreement goes out. So you can button up customers in real time, which makes it so easy to get customers, easier to get customers. Let's put it that way. You can manage the entire project under one roof within the Powur platform. So you'll get our technology. You'll have access to your own portal, your own consultant portal, where you can manage each project, interact with our team, our design team, leave notes on a project, interact with our contract team, our operations team, whatever you need. All the communication is there. All the management is there. Everything's tracked. We know where everything is. It's the critical kind of technology you need to really kind of grow the business and keep it well organized, including all of your commissions, all of your team management. Everything is all operated through our platform. And we pay commissions daily. Super excited about this milestone. We did the first daily pay yesterday for the new Powur Energy comp plan, and that is now fully transitioned into our software platform. We just did another one 2 hours ago, and we're getting ready to do today's in about another hour. So we pay commissions daily. The second the funding for your project hits, we literally turn it around that day and send the money out to you. So it's about the fastest money that you can get once the money shows up. We're currently operating in 22 different markets. So we're in business with this model, selling solar in 22 different markets. Pretty much every market where solar makes the most sense, we're there. So let's talk about the joining Power. So you've got the 70-30 split on net revenue, you've got equity ownership, and you have the 6-level revenue sharing. So our cost to join our business, there's a $99 one-time onboarding fee. So you pay this if you're brand new and you get onboarded in the company to go through onboarding. Our membership is $49 a month. So this is pretty much like the version of the annual Costco membership. So how can we afford to give away all of the money? Give you a 70% split, turn around and give 6 more levels of people money. Do the math. Power's keeping 15% of the net revenue. Obviously, that is not enough to operate a company on. So again, we don't care. We're not looking to make money off of the product. We're pretty much passing through the wholesale value of the product. But just like Costco, we need to stay in business through our members and our membership. So it's the same model. This is the model that's honestly killing it across the entire planet right now. Look at Amazon Prime, right? There's 120 million people on Amazon Prime. Why? Because you can order stuff off Amazon and get it shipped to your door and pay less money than any other company out there. How is that funded? Amazon Prime, right? It's that membership. So same thing with Costco, same thing with, so many, Sam's Club and all these others. This is the model that makes the most sense. It makes more sense to be a member with a company and have that company pass all of the value of the product onto you. So that's pretty much what we're doing. And then you've got an option here. You can use our services or not. So proposals are not cheap. Doing design and solar is not cheap. Sending out contracts is not cheap. It costs a lot of money. For us particularly, you got to hire people, you're staffing people. Just using one Aurora account, I don't know if you guys have ever cared to look at this stuff, but Aurora, which is a design tool, costs $259 a month. So you need one of those for every designer. Plus that designer is usually about $5,000 a month. So proposals and contracts are there's a cost to them. So we made it really simple. You can use our services, and if you want, you just pay per proposal and you pay per contract package. It's optional. If you don't want to use our services, you don't have to. You can do your own proposals and you can do your own contracts. And some people out there are really great at that and they prefer it and they can do it very cost effectively. Great, awesome. Go design your own proposals and ship your own contracts and just submit the signed deals to us. That's totally cool. But if you want to use the solo proposal and the solo contracts, we pretty much pass the cost of that along. So that's what that is. And even still, all you need to do is some very simple math and realize that, let's say you ship, you need to do 5 proposals to get a customer. Might cost you $125 for your proposals, but you make $6,000 on the customer. So do the math, 6,000 minus 125. Your net profit is $5,800, $5,875. So not a bad deal. So that is how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you got to see Power in a brand new light if you haven't caught up with where we've been at in a while. But most importantly, we want you to be inspired about the type of lifestyle change that's really possible with this company and with, what we're paying out and the new model that we've created and your skills and your network and your influence and your passion and your perseverance and really, who you are and what you want to do in life and in the world. Power, really, we want to be the platform to make your dreams come true. Ever since we started this company, it's been about impact and income. How can we help people have an impact in the world and feel great about what they're doing? And frankly, I can't think of anything more rewarding than solving the biggest challenge in the world, getting humanity off of fossil fuels and onto sustainable energy so that there's even a world that exists, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. How could you really find a more rewarding sort of business or industry to be in? And then to have that kind of impact and then to have the income, being able to make this kind of money in your own business, that you control from anywhere in the world, just like Uber, from the palm of your hand. Really it's the best of both worlds. So it just comes down to a choice. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? How much money do you want to make? How much impact do you want to have? And what kind of future do you want to create for yourself and for life on this planet? And we hope you align with ours and you see the vision of being in early at a foundational level in this company, making your dream and making your income goals come true, and then being along with us for the ride as we grow this to be $1 billion publicly traded company, and all realize and know that we did something really special. You know, we were a part of that. We helped build that thing. We created that, and that's what this company is really about. So thank you everybody so much for being here tonight. Absolutely an honor to share this presentation with you and really guide you through this journey. And in closing, I would just ask you to join us and come along for the ride, and let's go out there and do something epic and change the world and make some magic happen. So thank you, everybody. Rock and roll. Why don't you get back to whoever invited you here, find a way to get your questions answered, whatever it might be, if you've got some additional questions, and look forward to meeting you soon.